A big hello to all the viewers at Yearn to Learn. I'm here with my next video, and this video will prove very useful for all the budding teachers, aspiring teachers, and already established and in service teachers. So this is about how we create lesson plans in a simple way. Sometimes we have our ideas in our head, but when asked to write it up, it all gets messed up. Sometimes we execute our class very well, but we don't know how to pen down the plan for that. And sometimes we go completely blank. So I am going to help you with lesson plan, its format, how to write it, and will give you two samples, one for preschool and the other from a middle class. So before I begin with lesson plan, as you can see on screen, it's Yearn to Learn, it's flashing, and it's giving you a very gentle reminder to like my channel, share the videos that you feel are useful for your friends also, and yes, do not forget to subscribe it. Let's begin. So here on screen I have a ready-made format that I have specially prepared for you. I've worked very hard on it. So if you really want to use this format, I'll be posting its link in the description box below, and I'll post it in Word format so that you can edit it and use this template for planning your lessons. So first we have here name of the teacher. You can put your name here. Then we have class or grade. Here you have to mention the grade for which you are planning your lesson. Subject, you can mention the subject area, mathematics, English, science, SST, whatever you are teaching. Lesson number and topic. If it's topic wise, you can just give the topic. If you're taking any particular chapter, you can also give the chapter number as reference. Then estimated date of implementation. When are you planning to implement this lesson plan? For example, I am planning it for next month, say 1st of May. So I'll put here 1st May 2021. Then estimated number of online classes. Now I am writing it for online. It is very well adapted to offline also. So whether it's offline or online, plan accordingly how much time you're going to devote. For example, standard 40 minutes class is there. So it may take 3 classes to complete that topic, 5 classes, or maybe just 2 classes. You mention the number of periods here. Then is a general aim or objective. I have specified here that put your general aim of the topic here. And what generally do you as a teacher want to achieve from this particular lesson? Like what do you want? What is the objective of teaching it? Further, we have learning outcomes. Now this is very important. Do not confuse objectives with learning outcomes. They both are different. Objective is your goal of teaching that topic, and learning outcomes mean that what exactly you want to see as an output in children after they have learned that topic. So I've mentioned a few pointers here. What is to be learned as a result of the lesson? Be specific, be simple, be realistic when penning down your learning outcomes. Learning outcomes should be able to be assessed. By the end of the lesson, the learners would be able to, this is the language you use while writing the learning outcomes. They would have knowledge of so and so. They would be able to state that so and so. They would be able to demonstrate the understanding of, you can put the concept here. They would be able to explain something. They would be able to describe. They would be able to recall. They would be able to record something. They would be able to reflect upon something. So these are certain hint words, keywords that you can use while framing your learning outcomes. Coming to pedagogy. Now in pedagogy we have methodology, opening activity, and further split of periods. Then teaching learning outcomes. I have given it a vertical shape. You can also write it horizontally, it's your wish. But vertically we can run parallel, that in this particular class, this methodology will be used for this particular topic and these resources will be used. Once I'll explain, you'll get the idea. In methodology, we'll mention the approach or the method or the teaching learning strategies that we are going to implement. In opening activity, we are going to mention that particular introductory activity or questions with which we are planning to begin our topic. So it primarily comprises it primarily gets into the first period. And then teaching learning resources. What resources are we going to use for teaching that particular topic? Teachers, I must tell you that good planning is very important. Nevertheless, it means that you can't be flexible in your class. You can be. But believe me, once you plan your lessons, you feel a different vibe of confidence inside you. So plan well and see wonders happening in your class. So this is how it goes. Then I'm taking periods like the number of classes. Say you have 4 classes for this particular topic. Then period 1, whatever you are going to take. In methodology column, you will mention the methodology you will take, and in the teaching resources column, you will mention the resource that you are going to use. For example, in the very first period, you have to do some craft activity to introduce the topic, right? So in methodology, you will write demonstration method and instruction method कि आप that you are going to give a demo of that particular craft, how to do that, and give instructions. In period 1, you will give explanation of that activity, and in teaching resources, you will mention scissors or origami paper, Fevicol, sketch pens, whatever things are required for that craft work. Similarly, it goes for period 2, period 3, period 4, and parallelly you can mention the methodology and teaching resources. I'll show you the sample to make this point more clear. And then we are moving towards the end. So we have a closing activity. Now, as we open the chapter with something exciting, some activity or with some brainstorming, we are going to close the chapter. It can be simple revision. It could be recapitulation of the topic, or you can conclude it in some different way, like providing some web diagram or taking a quiz to see what students have learned, or just a simple discussion on what topic you have taken. But there has to be a proper conclusion to it, a proper closing activity for your lesson. Further, next row is interdisciplinary links, where you'll mention if other topics are being touched while you are taking it up. For example, many a times if you are taking say some science chapter, then there are formulas, there is calculation, there is new vocabulary, so English is touched, your mathematics is touched. So these are the interdisciplinary links. Sometimes there is a takeaway, some ethical learning, so value education is there. So you can mention here what other areas or topics or subjects this particular topic is touching. Then you can mention your class assignments and home assignments, what you are going to take in that. You would be very clear that this particular thing I'll take in class and this I'll give as homework. For period wise, you can give the same pointers as 1, 2, 3, 4 here. And coming to assessment, assessment would be summative. Summative assessments mean the proper assessment that would be marked. Formative assessment, that you are going to continually mark the students. Formal assessment, which is test based, you inform the students that there is going to be a test, you are marking them. Informal assessment, you are informally assessing them on the basis of their responses, their active participation in the class, their rational thinking, and then or you can assess them on any project or quiz that you take. So it's up to you how you are going to assess the understanding of the students. So many a times we assess the topics informally, like when we take revision, we just see that how many students, majority of students have learned that. And sometimes we take class tests or quiz to see. So it's your wish how you're going to take assessment. There's one more row added to it, which I've taken in the sample, that is reflection. Reflection is optional, you can or cannot write that, but it is taken once your lesson plan is executed. So you reflect on it, you write what went well in your class and what didn't go well or what could have been better. So this is how you reflect upon how you have taken your lesson plan. So maybe if your lesson is planned for 1st of May, then it is going to take 4 classes. So after your class, say somewhere around 10th of May, you should write the reflection for your lesson plan. So that was the sample. Now let me take some concrete examples so that this lesson plan format is more clear to you. So I am taking one, as I said, from preschool, right? So this is the same format, but I have filled the contents here. So name of the teacher, I've put my name here, Priya Handa, Y2L. It's just a gentle reminder. It's Y2L. Do subscribe, do like, do share. I very deliberately put it here. So Priya Handa, that's my name. So name of the teacher goes there. Then class or grade you are teaching. I have put preschool or playway. It's very simple yet relevant plan. Then lesson number and topic. It's pre-number concept that I have taken. Estimated date of implementation, I have put 21st April. Estimated number of online classes, I have just taken 2 classes. It's a sample. So just to make you aware how you can use it. Though you can use this plan, this is a full-fledged plan as it is also. I'll be posting its link also in the description box. Then aim or objective, as I said, it's a general one. So to develop pre-writing and pre-number concepts among tiny tots. Learning outcomes, the students will be able to acquire fine motor skills. They will be able to zip the bag and to button the shirt. These are the activities we are going to take. They'll be able to understand the concept of big and small. They will learn to differentiate between small and big objects. So these are the things that I'm going to take, and I'll make sure that these outcomes are met. Coming to pedagogy, as I was saying that we'll run parallel here. Now you see in methodology, I've given number 1, which means for the first period. Then I've taken period 1. What's going to happen in first period? And then in teaching learning resources, the first period teaching learning resources I've mentioned parallelly only. So methodology is instructional. Do as I say, not what I do. This is a very interesting activity. You can play with your own kids also if you have. Example, teacher will say, touch your head with your index finger, but the teacher will herself touch her cheek. Students tend to follow what they see. It's fun game to grab students' attention. So since they are very small children, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, so what we are going to do is just have a fun activity in the beginning to engage them. So do as I say, not what I do. Touch your head. So the teacher is doing the wrong step but saying something else. So listening is enhanced here. Resources like body parts, and for further activities we'll see what other resources are there. Then we have learning by doing. I have mentioned in the methodology. Fine motor skills. Students will be told, now this is the buttoning of shirt. I've given the explanation here because I have to pen it down. Then how to zip a bag, its explanation also. And in resources I've mentioned that the students will have to, if you're taking an online class, they'll have to gather one shirt and one bag with zip so that they can practice. And this pincer's grip will be practiced here. They'll understand how to button. So fine motor skills will be enhanced. So let's move further. Then after that they'll do these 2 things, buttoning the shirt and zipping and unzipping the bag. Then there is one demonstration, it's crazy claps. I have one very interesting video of crazy claps. I have given the actual link of crazy clap in the teaching learning resources. You can watch this video. So teacher will take any of these crazy claps in the class. The students, for example, the chapati clap. The students would do that, and or any of the butterfly clap like that, or the bird clap. So you can choose, so it would motivate them, and again it's something physical that they are doing, they'll enjoy it. Then the second period is planned. Now you see I've given number 2 here in the methodology. It's instructional and musical. Nursery rhyme. So teacher will open wide hands, say big, 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 and she'll bring her hands closer and say small, 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 small. Students along with the teacher will play a video, and then a recitation of rhyme will be there. Once video will be played, second time teacher will take up the rhyme with actions. So its link is again mentioned in the resources. Further demonstration of big and small. I mentioned various objects that teacher would gather to show the comparison, like a big basketball and a small tennis ball, to see that one is big and one is small. This is how the concept will be delivered, and it will be reinforced by a closing activity, which is show and tell. Teacher will ask students to get any 2 objects or toys and tell which is big and which is small. So students will bring any 2 objects, maybe any 2 toys, and then this toy is big and this is small. They'll identify. This is the closing activity. This is how they'll recapitulate. Interdisciplinary links, I mentioned English vocabulary because we are talking about objects here, concepts here. So these are the terms that they are introduced with. So English vocab will be enhanced. Science body parts, we are referring to in the first activity: touch your head, touch your cheeks, touch your nose with the index finger. So these terms are introduced. So this is integration of science and English in mathematics. Class assignment, we did recitation of rhymes, I mentioned that. Home assignment, I've prepared a separate worksheet which I'll attach with the lesson plan for my supervisor to see, and the students have to color small or big as mentioned in the each set. Maybe I have given two circles, one is small and one is big, and I have referred color the small circle with green color. So they'll color the small circle like that. And then assessment, I have not put anything in assessment here. You can put if you want, or you can assess it through the informal assessment in the closing activity, or it's your wish how you want to assess it. This is lesson plan 1. As I said, I'll put its link. You can use it as it is, or you can use the template which I'm going to post in the Word form, right? So let me take another example. This example is for grade 6, could be used in grade 5 as well. The topic here is informal letter. Name of the teacher, which is me. Y2L, reminder here for liking, sharing and subscribing, right? Then class and grade, I put 6. Subject English. Lesson number, no. Topic, yes, informal letter. Any date of implementation when you're going to begin. Estimated number of classes. I am planning that it will take 3 classes for me to complete this topic of informal letter with students. What is my objective here? My objective is to help students enhance their writing skills and acquaint them with writing style and format of an informal letter. Then learning outcomes, as I said, these have to be very simple and specific. So students will be able to understand and use appropriate style and format of writing informal letters. Students will be able to use appropriate language and expression of writing an informal letter. Students will be able to compose a personal letter. Finally, so this is the learning outcome, that they can independently write a letter, informal letter. Pedagogy, as I said, now again, first period, bring me something, discussion method. Opening activities, the teacher will ask the students to bring any type of letter they have. They'll be asked if they have received any letter from their kith and kin's relatives, or they have written to someone. Now, these days, people write mails, they write messages, but physical letter, people avoid writing. Though in many areas or in the village areas, this practice still persists. The teacher will ask the questions to students. What was in your mind while reading or writing the letter? Did you keep the letter to read again? Did you write back? Is letter writing relevant in today's digital world? So what you are doing, you're brainstorming, you're asking them to think. The teacher will show an inland letters to students, that this is the inland letter and how this is used for writing letters in reality. So learning resources, students resources, their own letters that they'll bring if they have, and one sample letter that the teacher would keep in case there are much resources with the students. So this is going to happen. Now during the class, discussion will be done on the characteristics of good letter using the PPT. Then PPT I'm going to attach. Teacher will explain the detailed format of an informal letter. Now when I'm saying these things, like as a teacher, when you're preparing your lesson, you're going to attach these things when you're forwarding it to your HOD or department head or subject expert or supervisor, whosoever you're reporting to. Then second period, now first period format done. Second is instructional scaffolding. Class assignment will be taken as mentioned. Now when I'm writing as mentioned, I'll just scroll it and show you that under the class assignment, I have given that format of the letter is there for the first. And the second period, write a letter to your friend Ronnie inviting him to spend a few days at your place in Mumbai. Your Sonia or Sunny, do not exceed these many words. So this is the class assignment. So I mentioned that class assignment will be taken. Teacher will guide students how to write. Here guidance will be provided. Students will be asked to bring an inland letter, envelope and paper for next class. Resources, since I have assumed it to be an online class, my resources are whiteboard, notebook and pen. Then coming to third and final class, third period, last class assignment and common errors will be discussed. Whatever happened in the last class, the last letter, then this class assignment will be taken. The teacher will encourage students to write by themselves. Now that was guided by the teacher, it would be independent writing by the students. Again, it is mentioned in the class assignment what is the topic, then home assignment will be explained. So I'm just scrolling it down to show you. Now in third, I have written here, you see number 3, which is for the third period. You have recently read a poem, this, now you can go through it. This is my class assignment. And then further with number 3 only, I have written the home assignment. Student will be asked to write an actual letter to any of their friends. I mentioned the resources parallelly. And closing activity is spin a yarn. Teacher will share whiteboard because it's an online class, as I mentioned, and allow students to annotate. Whosoever name is called will build on the informal letter on screen on the topic given by the teacher. It is basically first student will write maybe the address, and then the second student will add date, the third student would add salutation, the fourth one called will write the first line. Spin a yarn means they all will write, give one input, and then the whole letter would be built. So this is how it would be revised. And further I've written assessment, informal assessment, class assignment 2. The assignment that the students have done independently, that I'll assess to see have they achieved their learning outcome or not, and then reflection after completion of the lesson plan. Once it is conducted, you can write. So I hope it would be helpful. Wasn't it simple? So once you have format and once you have clarity how you have to write, once you have the keywords, then it is very easy. Lesson plan is nothing, like a big mountain that you have to climb. No, once you understand, you would enjoy writing these lesson plans, and once you implement your lesson plan, you will enjoy your classes. But as I say, there is always flexibility. There are times when you are not able to stick to your lesson plan, and you need to improvise in class, which is perfectly fine. So before I sign off, once again a gentle reminder to like, share and subscribe. And this is Priya Handa. You all are doing a great job. May God bless you all.